Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining LinkedIn Live. So happy to be with you today. First and foremost, I just want to make sure that everyone is safe and healthy and thinking of everyone during this time. It's kind of like a outer body experience of what's happening and how different this is. We are streaming live today on both LinkedIn and Facebook. If you are on Facebook and want to comment on this stream or ask a question, please, you have to come over to LinkedIn and just follow or like the profile, and we will get your questions answered. So I want to talk to everyone today about this rapidly changing and unpredictable situation that we're in. Specifically, I'm talking to parents of college students today. And this focus of this call today and this live is really to help kind of a few categories of people: parents of students and grads, because you probably have a lot on your mind about what's happening for them, what's going to happen in the future. The other thing we want to focus on are all of those college students who are now home with remote learning and in a whole new reality. And also those soon-to-be grads where so many graduations are canceled, things are postponed, and the future feels very uncertain for a lot of people. So I want to make sure that we're talking about what's next. How do you go about the job search? And figure out how do we take those steps to feel good that we're going in the right place. My name is Beth Hendler-Grunt. I am the founder and president of Next Great Step, and we provide guidance to college students and recent grads to help them land the job that they deserve. And I'm also talking to you today as a parent, because like many of you, I have a son who is a college junior. He came home from his abroad program 2 weeks ago, or a little less than that. He is in quarantine in my basement, and we just found out 2 days ago that his internship got canceled. So I am in it with you, as opposed to not just being a career guidance expert for young adults, but I'm a parent and trying to give advice. And I'm going to share with you some of the advice that I told him about how to move forward during this time, so you really have good understanding of where we're at. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're seeing and what we're hearing. I want to talk about some of the trends that we're seeing and how to address this. How do you give guidance to your student during this time? And I want to make sure that all of you understand some of those techniques to help you be confident. So if people could just give like a quick comment in the comments just to let me know that you're here, because sometimes there's a little delay with LinkedIn, and I want to just make sure that everyone is seeing this and seeing the live. So if you can just give us a quick hello or just let us know that you are here, that would be great. So I could just get a sense of who's joining us right now. And I just want to make sure we are good to go. All right. Very good. I just want to make sure, because I'm using an app to make this happen, and I just am not, here we go, seeing it. All right, perfect. Okay. So there are a few things that parents can do to guide their kids right now, but that students can do right now to help their job prospects. So if you have an internship that was canceled, or you didn't find one yet, or you're not sure, there are things that you can do right now to make that happen. So the first thing I want to talk about is that everyone's overwhelmed. Everyone's a little panicked, but not just students. Parents are feeling that way. And the initial feeling is, I think I'll just kind of retract. I'll just hide under the covers and wait until this passes. And the message is, first of all, this will not last forever. This is not, I don't know the timing. I guess if I did, it would be great if I had a sense, but it will pass. And to really, the solution to that feeling is focus on the end game. Focus on What is it that you want to have happen when the period of time ends, when everyone does come back to work and everyone kind of gets back to what we know as a normal life? Focus on that. A lot of times employers are hiring, and I want to talk about the employers that are hiring in the marketplace right now, because there are people, it may be shifting. You may have had to change from where you were, but people are absolutely hiring. So even I had a student, a client who graduated this past December. He had 3 interviews this week. Now, he doesn't have an answer yet. Things might slow down, but it will pass. And I want to just give you an example of some of the companies that are hiring, and we will link them into the comments as well, some articles of what's happening. But, Walmart is hiring 150,000 people, and Amazon is hiring 100,000 people. And yes, there may be jobs in the grocery goods, or maybe as a college student saying, hey, I'm not sure if I want to be someone on the front lines, but you need to pay attention, because there are a lot of companies that are in the tech space, that are in productivity software, that are in grocery, food delivery, online streaming, that they are booming right now and looking for help. Even, GE Healthcare, they're trying to create more medical equipment, more medical devices that are needed, specifically ventilators. So anyone with an interest in supply chain, science, technology, all of these things. And by the way, all these companies still have many departments, whether it's HR, marketing, branding, and even more creative areas. So this is the time to realize that there are people that are looking for people like yourself. So absolutely, you want to make sure that you are looking at those types of companies, and there are opportunities there. This may require a pivot of what you might have initially thought, but there are jobs. So I want you focusing on the end game. I want you to think about the long term and realize that there are opportunities right now in the market. Leading into kind of a second item that we see is that, well, how do you get those jobs? How do you, as a student or grad or recent grad, get yourself into jobs? And one of the things that we hear, the second thing I want to address is that a lot of people say, well, I don't think my skills are good enough. I don't think I have what it takes to get it. And what I would tell you is, one, you probably do. So I don't care whether you were a lifeguard, babysitter, worked at a restaurant, all of those take skills, whether it's being creative or you're in sales to upsell the amount of bill that you want to, or help someone buy more food at a restaurant. There are skills there. So the first piece is, take this time now to understand what skills you have. By the way, there's some skills that we're all gaining about perseverance, resilience. We're all gaining skills, whether we realize it or wanted to or not. So the first piece is understand the skills that you have, because when you understand your skills, it makes it easier for you to, one, figure out the type of companies that can maximize your skills, but more so understanding how you can pivot that and talk about yourself in a really compelling way. And we'll get into, interviewing and what you say when you talk with someone. But, and I want to just kind of make sure I'm tracking some of the comments here, but I want to make sure that you have a clear understanding of the skills you have, but this is also a great time for you to gain skills, for you to really understand what can you do. So maybe this is the time to learn how to code because you wanted to learn how to code. Or maybe this is the time to say, I am very creative. I'm going to put my portfolio online. I'm going to take some certifications. There's a lot of free training right now, free classes. Even Yale has their class on happiness and the key to happiness, and it's free. It's like the most popular class. So whether that's just for fun or something that helps you fill your time, but it's so important to just think about how can I use all this extra time, because we know college students are not nearly as busy as they would be on campus. Clearly they have schoolwork, but a lot of the social and extracurricular things are not in play the way they normally are. So definitely want to make sure that you're using the time to gain skills. The third thing that to think about is, one of the challenges right now is, okay, you need to find an internship or job post-graduation. And the status quo or the typical way of doing that will not fly. The typical way of applying to internships and jobs where you just apply online or go to these job boards and click like a lot of jobs at once, or if you're just going to send your resume in a kind of passive way, unfortunately, that's not going to work during the time that we're in right now and the time that we're probably going to be in for the next at least 6 to 12 months. You need to do things differently. And the most important thing you need to do is to differentiate yourself and stand out from other people. And one of the best ways to do that is to prepare and have preparation and do things now that you said, oh, I'll get to it. You want to do it now. So you want to update your resume. You want to update LinkedIn. But the most important advice that I would tell any college student, grad, young adult who's looking for work is to make sure that you are networking and talking to people. I actually think young people have an advantage right now because people and executives might have a little bit more time, but people are sympathetic to young people trying to figure it out. And reaching out to someone on LinkedIn, write them a note in your connection letter. Say, I saw that you're in this role, and like you, I also went to the same school. I'd like to learn more about what you're doing. Can you spend 10, 15 minutes with me to discuss it and to get on the phone or a video call? People are receptive to giving guidance right now and helping out because we're in the same place. Again, having clarity about what you're going to say, the good questions to ask, knowing what skills you want to relay to someone is going to be important. But reaching out personally and directly, that will really set you up to differentiate yourself down the road and really make sure that you have the right connections and the right people to be speaking with, and that could actually help you because you know what's going to happen. Most recruiters and most employers, they don't want to go through a difficult hiring process. When this comes out at the other end, there's going to be an influx of work. I mean, by the way, there's a backlog of work that nobody's doing or that needs to get done. And they're going to think first about, well, who are the people that I can talk to? Who should I be reaching out to and making sure that the people that I just spoke with, that, wow, I just spoke with this recent grad, I'm just going to call them. People are going to want to make it easy for hiring, and you want to make it easy to be found. So you absolutely want to make sure that you can absolutely do what you need to. The other thing that we find really interesting, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. And I just said it the other day, internships are disappearing by the day. There was a statistic by NACE, the National Association of Colleges and Employers, that companies, this was posted maybe 5 days ago, companies are taking a wait and see approach. And as of last week, 85% of internships are planning to move ahead, but that figure has continued to drop. Candidly, I think that's going to drop a lot lower. There's a lot of uncertainty. So what do you do if your student, like my kid, who is told your internship is no more, or they were planning to use this time during March, April, May to figure out their internship? What do? I think there's a few options. First thing, if you had an internship with an employer that just said, hey, we can't take you on right now, I would encourage your student to reach out to them and say, I understand this is a difficult time. I am here for you. I have extra capacity. I will do anything that you need me to do right now remotely. You need me to do research? Do you need me to help rewrite your HR manual because now you have to incorporate your online rules? Offer to support these companies, and it could be outside of the realm of what the original internship was going to be. So really think out of the box, because these people already wanted you or your child as the candidate. Just say, hey, I'll do whatever you need me to in whatever capacity. So that's the first thing, kind of just showing that willingness, because we have time. The goal is that through internships is gaining skills, right? That's the number one thing of why college students want internships, to supplement their classwork. It's what can they do right now that helps to understand, what that helps them enhance their education and makes them better prepared for the workforce. So offering to help these employers in whatever way possible is the very first thing they should do. The second thing is, if you don't have an internship or you didn't get one yet, or you were waiting, is you want to go back to that conversation I had with networking. You want to think about, what are those companies that I want to target? What's the top 10 that are in demand right now that potentially could use my skills? And you want to proactively reach out to people on LinkedIn saying, hey, I'd like to learn more about it. So you don't want to jump on someone and say, I really need an internship, because if you come across desperate, that's not always appealing to employers. But someone who's saying, hey, I'm really interested in what you do. And during these conversations saying, hey, if you ever need help, or if you want to work on a project or anything that's on your plate that you need help with, I'm happy to do it. So the more you can do that, the better. The other thing I want to highlight is a really interesting conversation I had with the CEO of a company called Parker Dewey. I had the opportunity to speak with Jeff Moss, and Parker Dewey has a company solely focused on providing micro internships. So this is a new term for a lot of people. Micro internships are very short term, almost like freelancer type work, where companies only want to hire college students. They only are looking for a college student to do a 5-day project, a 10-day project. It could be, I need you to organize this Excel data from this database and prepare it in this format. It could be, I need you to do some research, look at our competitors and provide it back to us. And it's paid, which is great. But these are employers that solely want to hire college students. What's great about this, it's a way in very short pieces of time to gain a skill set. So I have no financial interest or anything with Parker Dewey. I just think it's a fantastic resource. You can go to the website. I'll link it in the notes here as well. But definitely check it out. So it's a new way of learning. I mean, there's absolutely, companies are going to move towards virtual internships. It's just going to happen. There's going to be a lot of work that's virtual, and need to rethink about that. But the more as a student that you can be in front of the people that are hiring for the jobs that you want, or maybe it's a peer, maybe it's someone who graduated 3 to 5 years ago, who's in an entry-level job that you would want to be doing, you really want to think about, what can I do? What can I do right now to make sure I'm putting myself ahead of others? And we're just giving people help and resources as much as possible. Just want to check here here we go. And let me kind of, finish one last thing, and then I will get to questions and answering your questions as well. I want to make sure that this mode of communication with video and online, this is here to stay. This is not going anywhere anytime soon. And for young people who have been using it, but using it with FaceTime, Snapchat, different ways, but the etiquette required to interview well over video is something that's going to need to be a new skill that has to be learned, as well as talking on the phone. Because this is how people will talk to you, they will interview, and a lot of that is not necessarily trained. So making sure you have a clean space. Now, I'll tell you the truth. So it might look clean right here. The rest of my office is a mess, but that's okay. You don't know that. You don't have to see that. But being able to have all the etiquette of a good video, maybe you might need a new microphone. I actually have, I'll pick it up and show you. So I have like a Yeti microphone here, so you can hear me better. So I've learned this over the years of doing video calls, and we do video coaching with our clients of what's needed to be heard. I have an external video camera, so I have a better, clearer picture. So it's just important to see, make sure that you are ready for video, because this is not going away. And the need, especially if you have the opportunity for a video interview, you're going to need to practice. You're going to need to test it out and see what it's like. By the way, when I'm looking at you, I actually am not always looking at the screen. I'm looking at the camera, so you can actually see my eyes and my face. If I look at the screen, it's going to look like I'm looking down. So there's some etiquette things that are really important to understand and learn along this way that you want to be thinking about. So, all right, I'm going to try to take a look at some of these comments. Hold on. So here we go. All right. So, my net message is there are opportunities. I am optimistic and I'm hopeful about how we get through this. But I'm going to tell you, a key piece of this is having clarity for your kids about what skills they have. And I say, what's your top 3? And what I'm going to do, in addition to the programs that we typically offer we do coaching privately in groups, I'm going to create an accelerated program just to talk about skills. If you want to learn more about the skills, just put your name in the comments, or my colleague Rachel has put something in there where you could just contact us and we'll get you on the list for the workshop that we're going to do just for skills. So I'm going to try to come through and answer some of the questions that we have going on here. So I have a student who has lost some motivation, but they don't want to do anything right now. So I'll speak for myself too. I've offered my son a lot of tips and he's like, leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it yet. I think it's hard right now. I think even just to get myself motivated to do a live and come on, I think this takes effort, takes a lot more exponential mind effort, because we're so distracted by the news and what's happening to us. And clearly we got to make sure everybody's okay and safe. What I would say is give them a little bit of time. We have a little time, but maybe small things, very small things. So if they could just, set one goal a day, and maybe the goal is that I'm just going to read an online news piece that's related to my major. Or maybe I'm just going to email a professor and check in and see if there's anything I can be doing to supplement or help them. I mean, small things I think we all need to do. As I was telling someone, I can only set one goal for myself a day. And I think helping our own kids just with a small piece of, maybe today's the day that you're going to maybe just start thinking about getting on LinkedIn. Just start setting up a profile. By the way, I'm putting in the link. We have a free resource teaching kids how do you do LinkedIn for college students. So if your child does not have a profile or not sure if it's so good, it's in the link here. It's completely free. It's a short video. I think it's worked really well of the basic things you need to know of how to set up a profile. And then a couple key components of how you find alumni from your school and then how to connect. So just make it simple and easy for them so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. And if it's one thing a day or one thing a week, or maybe today's not the week, maybe we start next week, just kind of keep on them, because they need to get going. So that's a great question. Okay, great. I'm glad you're excited about the workshop on skills. People are interested in that. Okay, son had a senior internship. Absolutely. So I think there's an interest on skills as well. All right, my kid doesn't want to reach out, thinking he's coming across annoying. So, it's kind of an interesting philosophy. And I think this is young people who are not used to reaching out. And there's always that feeling of, I don't want to annoy them. I'm bothering them. There is a fine line between being, overly persistent, but then not following up enough. And I think this is a time right now that I would suggest a little bit over communicating. So if they sent a letter to someone saying, I'd like to talk to you, I'd like to speak with you and understand more about your job, you're not being annoying. Okay. That's important. Now that person might have a lot going on. They might have a lot going on in their business, or they may have things going on at home, and they may not reply right away. Doesn't mean they don't want to talk to you. That just means they have other stuff they have to focus on first. And the key point is to be persistent. And I typically say, if you haven't heard back from someone, you should re-email and re-follow up every 5 to 7 days. And just saying, just following up, if you'd be so kind to spend 10 minutes to speak with me, I'd really appreciate it. And maybe in the email, you send a link to the latest, like an article that you thought was interesting or something that was relevant to them. So they always want to think about, how can I add value to the person that I want their attention, right? I want you to give me a few minutes of your time. What can I give you in return? So many kids say, well, what can I possibly give them? It could be, hey, I was doing some research and I saw this, or I thought of you, or I saw this on the news. So just, you're not being annoying. Follow up and being persistent, because those who are persistent are the ones who are top of mind for employers or people who are in the workplace. Say, wow, I just spoke with this really great college kid and they are so on the ball and they followed up and we had a great conversation. And when we have that next job, I want to hire them. So, you're not being annoying. Keep going. And we can talk about other resources about what to say and how you say it. So we could talk about that as well. All right. Let me try to see other questions. Okay. What does a college senior who wants a job type TV? Hey, Stacy. So same thing. If you're a college senior and you want a job, and in this particular, you want it in live TV, I mean, clearly people are glued to television right now, and they're glued to streaming services. So the first thing I would do if you're a college senior and you're trying to line yourself up for a job when you graduate is you want to start with what's in your realm of who you know. Okay. Who do you know? Who do your parents know? But the best resource that I really like is understanding who is in your alumni group. So every university has a portal to access alumni. The way that we like it, we think is really easy, is to use LinkedIn. LinkedIn, if you go to every single person, all of us included, if you've put down your college education, if you click on your own profile, the college logo on, or the name of your college on LinkedIn, it brings you to that page. So for example, I went to WashU in St. Louis. If I was looking for somebody who I wanted to connect with, it brings me to the Washington University in St. Louis LinkedIn page. And on that page, don't click on the jobs yet. Click on people or click on alumni actually. And if you go to alumni, it brings you this like filter where you can now filter, tell me the people that graduated in the last 5 years or however many years. Tell me the people who had the same major as me. Tell me someone who might be working for NBC, CBS, ABC, whatever TV station you're thinking about. And now all of a sudden you have this list of really people that went to the same school, that had the same major, and that are working in a job or at a company that you want. And now this can be a resource, and you want to reach out saying, like you, I'm a fellow, I think your son goes to Elan. I'm a fellow Elan soon to be grad, and I'm looking to, learn more about your role in the TV business. And if you could spend a few minutes with me. So again, just being really targeted on the people that you want to, the companies you want to go after and the people you want to speak with. And I love alumni as a first way to do it. There are also plenty of ways to search for people that are not alumni that you don't know and you've never met. You can find lots of things in common, whether you join the same group they belong to. I love that as a trick. If you use the groups function on LinkedIn, and if you want to join a group for other TV people in television or television producers, you join that group. And now you can target people in that specific group who have that interest. So I hope that helps answer your question. Let's see. Hold on. Sorry, I'm pressing some things here. All right. Have been networking with hospital. It feels like it's not appropriate to reach out. So yeah, so this is a good question. So someone wrote here about, I've been, networking with hospital administrator and don't feel like it's the right time. I mean, clearly hospitals are prioritizing on people that really are sick right now. However, I think you could write a letter. I mean, people do get some downtime saying, I understand. Maybe the letter is something like, I understand that you are really overwhelmed right now. And I admire all the work that you're doing. And if there's anything that I can do to support you remotely from administrative standpoint, paperwork, any initiatives, I'm here for you and supporting you. But I think people in healthcare, you kind of need to back off and let them do their job. But I think it's okay to send a letter expressing your interest and that you're willing to do anything that maybe helps them and takes the work off of their load, because people are stressed, and especially our healthcare system. I mean, our frontline people are just so admirable, or these are our heroes right now. So anything you can do to kind of say, hey, I'll take things off your plate and make it easier for you, I would do that. Let's take another question. Okay, how can I follow up on a job I applied to online where there's no contact or HR information listed for the position? Hey, Sarah, thanks for asking that question. All right, so here's my pet peeve. Applying online right now, and I said this earlier, is very, very difficult. It's always tough. It's always hard to get found online, but now it's even more difficult. And what I would suggest is I would not apply online. Or if you see a job that's online, don't apply through that portal. Go to the website, double check, make sure, is it real? Do you see the job on the actual company website? The other thing I would do is find a person. Like LinkedIn is, again, a phenomenal tool, or go to Google, anything. Look up the name of the company, and for LinkedIn, I would, and there's overall search field, like human resources, XYZ company, and see all the people that come up that work in their HR department. And then what I would do is reach out directly saying, I'm reaching out. I noticed that you recently posted a job on this. I'm very interested. I think I'd be a great candidate because of this. And I welcome the opportunity to speak with you. So kind of going around the process, especially as young adults, recent grads, college students, it is very, very hard to get through those tracking systems, because by default, you're not supposed to have extensive experience. You're a student. This is your focus. And having the right keywords and getting picked up, it is very hard. Where I think you're going to have greater success is, hey, you want to use those online job boards to see what jobs are? That's fine. But go to the website, double check that it's actually really there. And then I would make sure that you are connecting with somebody on LinkedIn to see if you can connect with them directly to talk about it and kind of bypass the process. So that's my thing about applying online. Josh, following up in terms of reaching out to people, I think email is easiest right now. I mean, letters, candidly, a lot of people don't even want to touch the mail. They're a little afraid whether things are contaminated. So I would say stick with email. Anything electronic is what I would suggest as your first communication point at this point. Okay. Some of the links, can't see the notes page. Okay. I think we're going to post some of our links in case you're not seeing it. Just want to make sure. But I think, I want to just address, kind of my overall feeling is we need to kind of stay the course. I think for all of us, I know we're all going to have days where it doesn't feel so good. We want to make sure our families stay healthy. And that is the most important thing for everybody right now. So in light of all of this, of course, I want to give everyone a resource, but everyone's safety and health is priority. And once we feel that that's somewhat under control, one thing a day or one thing every couple days to help your student or grad with moving forward towards the internship, towards the job. Don't let them see this process. So some people are saying that they're not sure they're seeing some of the links. So I will make sure when this finishes that I will go back and relink it. It might be in the very beginning. My colleague, Rachel Scherzer, had posted things in the earlier part of this event. But if you have any questions, so I see a lot of interest in skills, which is great. So either what I'm going to direct you to, I'm going to put it at the bottom here, is just go to our website, nextgreatstep.com/contact us, and just fill out the contact form, and I will get you on the list for our upcoming accelerated skills session that we're going to put together for students. And if there's anything you need, I will be probably doing more lives, because I feel that people need to hear what's happening. And I'm kind of assessing that constantly and watching the news. So feel free to reach out directly. You can message me on LinkedIn. I've had a lot of parents and students message me as well, and reach out to us. We're happy to address your questions the best we can, and one day at a time. So stay safe, stay healthy, and look forward to seeing all of you soon.